How do you handle bleeding and use a tourniquet? Let's start with preparing the tourniquet. When you receive it, the tourniquet is not yet prepared, so first, unfold it completely. Next, there's a release mechanism on the ratchet here. When you release it, you can pull the strap all the way out and flatten it. At this point, it's not restricted in any way. Then fasten it here and pull it through. Now the ratchet is ready to be operated. Now we need to perform a pre-wrap action, a preliminary winding. To what extent should it be wrapped? The inner and outer straps should be flat. So what kind of situation would be incorrect? For example, if you receive it and it's tightly rolled up like this, that's incorrect. What other situations would be considered incorrect? If you pull too many times, causing the inner and outer straps to have different amounts of tension or extension, that's also incorrect. When we perform this pre-wrap action, as long as the inner and outer straps are parallel, that's sufficient. Okay, this is the first step in the strap arrangement process. For the next step in the process, carefully take this specific side of the tourniquet and flip it over completely to form a secure loop. Once you have done that, look closely at the top section of the inner strap. You must be absolutely certain that this bright red part extends significantly past the very top edge of the inner strap to ensure it is positioned correctly for the next phase of the application. Next, you should carefully follow the specific direction indicated by the internal capillary needle and pull the material until it is completely flat. Once you have finished flattening it out properly, proceed to fold the entire piece exactly in half, making sure that the shiny metal side is positioned so that it is facing directly upwards toward you. Alright, next is our mounting board. When preparing this mounting board, ensure the metal side faces downwards toward the plastic side. By following this orientation, when you pull the board out for use, it prevents any tangling or snagging of the components. Once you have verified this alignment, the mounting process is successfully finished. Next, with this panel, as long as you have MOLLE gear or equipment, you can attach it anywhere on your body that you want. Usually it might be on your chest, on your back, on the side, or like in the military, they often attach it to the shoulder, mainly in a spot that's easy to access. As for how to operate it, you grab the protruding red part that we mentioned earlier. Okay, let's say this item is on your chest. If my left hand gets shot or is bleeding heavily, I can pull it out from my chest. Next, there's a loop here. Just put your hand through it, grab this tail, and when you get to this point, switch your hand to the shorter end and pull it tight. Hello, capillary needle. Next, you operate this ratchet until you feel pain. Once it starts to hurt, that usually means the bleeding has been mostly stopped. That's it, just a few simple steps like this. Right, next you need to wrap the tourniquet, then write down the time it was applied. After that, let professional medical personnel determine when it should be removed, whether it can be taken off, and what further treatment is needed. Exactly. If you've applied it effectively, your hand should already feel numb. That's normal and means the procedure was done correctly. Alright, so how do you ensure a fail-safe? For this type of tourniquet, if you've applied it and you're just practicing but you can't get it off, what should you do? First, the simplest way is to loosen the capillary needle and it will come off. Second, as mentioned earlier, there's a release mechanism here. Open the release mechanism and it will also come off. So we have 2 layers of fail-safe protection, which makes practicing very safe. In actual use, you have 2 options for releasing it. That concludes the operating method for the bleeding control tourniquet.